from that first team, Wayne Franklin became one of my best friends and still is to this day. And it may seem like an unlikely friendship because I was 22 at the time, and he was mid-30s and a major league veteran and everything. But he really took me under his wing and kind of taught me about being in pro baseball, even though his role is very different than mine. But I learned a lot from him, and he was in our wedding party a couple of years later, along with Espedo and Therm. But he taught me a lot off the field too. But we would always hang out after games, home and road, and actually, after the 2008 season, I remember late in 2008 when I found out that Therm was going to stay in York year round. I don't know what I was thinking, but I remember where I was too. We were outside of the clubhouse at Long Island, and I said to him, "Hey, if you're going to be in York during the winter and you need somebody to throw with, let me know." Well, he sure let me know, because it became, getting up with him every morning and catching him every morning, and eventually I'm wearing the face mask and everything. But as somebody that grew up playing and didn't have a place to play anymore necessarily, that was so much fun, and it kept me young and it kept me in shape. And he would push me too. Like if I wasn't doing my job, you know how Therm is. He's like, he's the emotional leader, but he's kind of like a drill sergeant. So it wasn't just throwing or catching him. I mean, we were playing long toss, but we were also throwing the football around and getting out and running and getting in shape and going to the gym. And if I was slacking, he'd let me know. He'd be all over me. He'd kick my butt verbally. I needed it too. I was lazy sometimes, so there were mornings I didn't want to do it. But I'm forever grateful for him and for him letting me, have that opportunity, and it gave me a different perspective. Even just catching him on the side, like I got a chance to see how his pitches moved and everything, and we would simulate hitters. Like we would pick, some days we'd pick a major league lineup, and I would call the pitches against the Red Sox or the Phillies or the Yankees, and some days we'd pick the Barnstormers or Somerset, and we'd face their hitters. And it let me know kind of how he would think as a pitcher and how he would set guys up. Even though we were in the batting cage or in the bullpen, nobody else was in the stadium. But it was really, really awesome of him to let me be a part of his training, and for him to trust me to squat down and catch for him. And back to Wayne, I had a chance to catch him a few times too. Even though he hurt me, he threw a cutter that I didn't react to, and it hit me in the glove hand thumb and kind of sprained it. So Bob Burton, our second trainer in team history, he put together a thumb guard for me, and for the rest of time, for the rest of forever, I always wore that in the mitt anytime that I caught any of those guys going forward. But I had a chance to throw with Sean Stidful one time, and Chris Cody another time, and Steve Andrade, who wasn't here for very long, but he was here in 2009. I had a chance to catch him one day. And it allowed me to kind of be competitive myself and challenge myself to still, do something, not playing in a game, but, I wanted to do it well. I mean, if I was going to catch Therm, for instance, and be his target to help him get ready for the season, I wanted to do it the right way. So, I formed friendships with those guys in a variety of ways. Chris Cody, we would play aerobie in the outfield before games, so that kind of hit it off with him. And from the first team, Keone, still stay in touch with him. And he's been back in York a few times, and he always stops by the stadium to see us. So, Espedo's still in town. Have seen him quite a bit. So, yeah, it's that first team was pretty unique.